Hello friends, you are welcome to Anchor Network where you get updates of things happening around you. I appreciate every one of you that have subscribed to this channel, and if you have not subscribed, I say thank you very much because I know that at the end of this news you are going to subscribe, and I want you to press the red button and also the bell icon so that you'll be notified anytime we publish any news. Thank you very much once again. Yoruba youth mock Afenifere faction for misleading Nigerians over VP Osinbajo's comments. A Yoruba youth group has mocked the breakaway faction of pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere for deliberately trying to mislead Nigerians by quoting Vice President Yemi Osinbajo out of context. The Yoruba Youth Vanguard at a press conference in Abeokuta on Wednesday said that the Afenifere group did not represent the interests of the Yorubas, but of certain old men who were after personal gains. Leader of the group, Akomolafe Kolawole, explained that if truly Afenifere represented the interests of Yoruba, they would not take the lead in misleading Nigerians on comments from Professor Osinbajo, a true Omoluabi. Kolawole stressed that Afenifere was not worth listening to because they had sold their soul to the devil and highest bidder. Afenifere, as we know it today, especially Yinka Odumakin, do not represent the interests of the Yorubas in any way. They are only speaking for their stomachs and pockets. They have since lost relevance and anything they say or do should be disregarded, he said. Komolafe explained that the Afenifere leaders were only motivated by corruption, that since the vice president is honest and truthful person, they were trying hard to tarnish his image. For students of history, you will agree with me that Afenifere have been working tirelessly to tarnish the image of Professor Osinbajo because he is bigger and better than all of them collectively. They do not like the fact that his popularity among Yorubas and Nigerians generally is soaring, so therefore they try to drag him down. But unfortunately, he is man that God has blessed. No man, not even Afenifere, can cross him, he added. Kolawole read what the vice president said to the Nigerian community in New York during a town hall meeting on Sunday. Here's what Professor Osinbajo said. I really will urge that you don't rely entirely for information on social media. I think that the social media tends to be hysterical and practically everything. I think there's also a lot of politics involved in some of the information as it comes up. I think it is also important to point out that this new wave of issues of security came immediately after the elections. And there is always a connection between this issue of security and elections because many times politicians arm several of these individuals during the electioneering period, and immediately after an election cycle, many of them having nothing to do and with arms all over the place resort to the fastest way of making money, which is to adopt somebody and ask for a ransom. And that is just one side of the problem. But let me dimension it so that you can really understand it better. When people say there is security problem and here and there, it is not one thing, it is several different things, but if it is described as one thing, then it will look bigger than it really is. And I am deeply worried about the fact that we might find ourselves unable to resolve these problems unless we drill down to see what the problems are. With respect to general kidnapping, which we have seen in certain parts of the country, again, this is not entirely new. When you listen to some of these stories, some of them are simply not true anyway. Some are fueled by politics, but there are cases of kidnapping. There is no question about that. And every story we try to track and trace. When you track them, you find out that people just tell stories, but the truth anyway is that there is kidnapping in places where it has taken place. The way to tackle or to check is the work we are doing with state governments, namely using technology to track cases. These are economic crimes. If people know that they will be caught and they will not be allowed to get away with their loot, it will stop in the places where it is taking place. That is really the work we are doing with state governments. We are doing this in the various zones where we see there is a rush or some incidents. We are trying to put in place trackers and all sorts of other equipment that can be used to locate these criminals. I am not sure how many follow the number of arrests have been made in different state police command. Several have been made. I don't think the problem is as massive as that. I think we can deal with the question of kidnapping quite easily. I am sure that not so long a time, the news will be a lot better in terms of kidnapping and we will feel more comfortable about life at home. I think this Yoruba youth, they are really being economical with the truth, because with just what they have said and what Afenifere has said, I don't even know what Afenifere has said, but the part that the Nigerian people, the masses took, from the statement of the vice president, everybody was really against it. Everybody was like, how can you, just make it sound as if things are not really the way they are. Even people that are in diaspora, they know much things. They know better than we that we are in Nigeria. They know everything. They hear everything. And of course, if they hear some things on social media, definitely they will call their people back home that what is really happening. And people at home, will be able to give them what is really happening. And that was why there was a lot of cry. There was a lot of noise, that people really didn't like the statement that the vice president made. That how could you be say such a thing when things are really even hotter, and people could really feel it. And meanwhile, the vice president was saying that everything happened after elections, which is not true. This thing has been lingering for a very long time since they assumed office. They are doing some parts which they are really trying their best, but the thing has escalated compared to when they came in, or compared to when PDP was in charge of the country. So for him to now be saying that the whole thing came after election, okay, is still the same people, or is the same person that was sharing 10,000. They have a lot of programs, in order to be able to bring people out of poverty, or to be remove people from crime. What causes crime? Is it not when somebody is not having anything to do, you will resort to crime? So what have they been able to do? Because if somebody, if people are really up and doing and they are so busy, no politician will go and rent them. If you are okay, just like many of you are listening to me, once you are okay and you have something to do, you are when you are busy with good things that you are doing, you are so hardworking in what you are doing, no politician will come and tell you to come and carry guns for them, just because they have not been able to tackle the problems that is facing the country. See all the empowerment they talk about, there is no effect. You are doing empowerment, you are doing all manner of things, you are saying you are giving people money to do business, to do whatever. Okay, if you are doing all of that, what is now the effect? Because people are so idle. That is why politicians can see them and give them gun, or to do all manner of things. And he was saying that the whole thing started after election, which is not true. These Yoruba youths, they are still complicating issues for this man. They would have just allowed the sleeping dog to lie, because the vice president came out and said, people misinterpreted him. And from what they've read again that the vice president said, they are just complicating the whole issue. So guys, that's just my take on what these guys have really said. I don't know what you think about it. I would like you guys to put down your comments and let's deliberate this issue. Thank you very much for always listening. Bye.